My name is Francisco Peña. I'm a partner of the law firm of Cacheaux Cavazos Newton.
And Francisco, it's great to see you. I said that we would ask 2 or 3 questions of you about some of the groups, including your own company, but the groups that you're associated with, and then talk a little bit about your week in Monterrey last week. So first question, tell us about Cacheaux Cavazos Newton.
Well, Cacheaux Cavazos Newton is a law firm that was born, I would use the word, back in 1994. As a matter of fact, we share the same birthday, January 24th, 1994. We have the same birthday, so that's a good thing. And it was founded by Rene Cacheaux, a Mexican national from Mexico City. Daniel Cavazos, he's from the Valley, from Dana. And Joe Newton, he is from San Antonio area. They both, the 3 of them got together thinking of an international law firm and created Cacheaux Cavazos Newton. They had a lot of experience, especially Rene Cacheaux. He wanted to have a Mexican firm in the US servicing companies that at that time the NAFTA was being opened up, and he saw a great opportunity for our firm. So everything began that in 1994. Cacheaux Cavazos Newton, ever since, we have been serving a lot of entities that have established themselves in Mexico, whether they're going to open a facility, whether they're going to buy land and build, or they're going to lease. We're a full-fledged law firm. We handle every single aspect of the law in Mexico with respect to manufacturing, with respect to labor and employment, environmental, contractual matters. We have specialized attorneys that they work on specific areas of the law in Mexico. We represent agricultural companies, we represent transportation companies, we represent manufacturing companies as well, from the electrodomestic type articles all the way to automobiles, from acquiring ranches to hunt and fish, all the way to getting permits for new tomatoes to be planted in Mexico, or a different type of seed that needs to be developed in Mexico. We do all of that. We love what we do. NAFTA is now USMCA is the way we go in Cacheaux Cavazos Newton.
Well, Mr. Cacheaux clearly was a visionary.
Yes, sir.
You can tell by that you've had a lot of success simply by the number of offices you have in all sorts of locations, so many cities.
Yeah, we have been following the trend of where the NAFTA, now USMCA, has been successful. We have 3 offices in Texas: Austin, San Antonio, which is our corporate office, and McAllen, where I reside and I work from. And then all along the border, we have Matamoros, Reynosa, Ciudad Juárez, and Tijuana. Then into the interior of Mexico, we have Monterrey, Querétaro, Mexico City, and Guadalajara. And with that, we kind of cover the majority of the cities where the NAFTA or USMCA is working, or now the nearshoring is emerging.
Do you think Mr. Cacheaux could ever have envisaged just how much trade was going to increase between the US and Mexico?
He is a visionary. He, maybe not to the way we are right now, but most definitely he bet on the NAFTA when he saw that. He saw that it was going to be a big boom into Mexico, and I think he was able to capitalize that, associating himself or partnering with people with the same kind of vision, like Daniel and Joe. Even though there are 2 U.S. Attorneys, licensed attorneys, our firm Our strength is that we have U.S. attorneys, Mexican attorneys. We are bilingual and bicultural. We not only speak the language, we understand the culture. The just-in-time culture is key for the success of this firm.
And that's probably what sets you apart.
Most definitely, I would think so, yes. There are other firms in the area that at the end of the day try to compete with us the way we do it. We have the largest footprint in Mexico in regards to what we do. So I think we cover most of Mexico. And even though we don't have offices in other parts of Mexico like Merida or Cancun, we still do business in those cities. Our associates are able to travel to those areas to provide services in those cities.
Can you tell us how many employees you have?
We are a little bit over 100 attorneys, and with the staff and whatnot, we could be around 120 all around, more or less.
Well, that's fantastic, Francisco. The other questions I had for you before we talk specifically about Monterrey involved that some of the organizations that you're involved with, and I was going to ask first of all about the American Chamber.
Yes, the American Chamber, or what we call it AmCham. We are members of the AmCham. AmCham has three big chapters: Monterrey, Mexico City, and Guadalajara. My firm is a member of these three chapters, and the chapter I'm very most active is the one in Monterrey, which, by the way, they just got their 50th anniversary, and it was a big celebration, and continued to do a lot of events to celebrate the 50th anniversary. So we are very much involved with the AmCham. We sponsor events. We have spoken several events. As a matter of fact, a little bit before summer, AmCham came to the Valley, and I was able to speak in that event, and explaining precisely about the nearshoring effect. What is the nearshoring? What's the difference between nearshoring and farshoring? What is ally shoring and or friend shoring? So all of those explanations, that was the talk that I gave on that day. And eventually, I got more and more involved. Several of other attorneys from my office in Monterrey are involved as well. And I collaborate very closely with that office in Monterrey and AmCham. We just had an event. They call it the North America Week. AmCham, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, they created the North America Week, and I was part of the speakers. My firm is a sponsor to that event, and it was a success. It was a great event, and that at the end of the day, what we're looking for is not only promoting my firm, which we did, but also to provide AmCham good quality information about what is happening around Monterrey, what is happening in Monterrey, what is happening in Mexico with respect to the United States and Canada, and what we think we will be seeing this for the next 5 to 10 years. I think that the nearshoring, I've seen both sides of the coin, that some of them say, well, this is going to last like 2-3 years. I'm not sure. I think we're going to have, if not the 10 years, nearly 8 years, not that the same, with the same strength that we have it right now, but it will be eventually come to, right now we're going to a peak. It will climax at a certain point, and then it will come steady. We will have a very good next 7 years, 8 years of good new investment coming to the area.
And the mission statement of AmCham, what's their best interpretation?
Well, I think, and I will not be able to speak on their behalf, of course, but the way it is they're looking to serve American companies that are, in this particular case, doing businesses in Mexico. There are a lot of companies that come from the United States, settle in Mexico, and or nearby Monterrey, and AmCham, it will be a good source of information, a good source of support to those American companies. I have several companies. There are clients of the firm that have joined AmCham because of the services that they provide.
Next company or organization that you're involved with, AEM.
Well, AEM is another association. It started back in 1994. René Cacheaux is the culprit of it as well. René Cacheaux was getting together with a lot of his friends in San Antonio. This organization was born in San Antonio, and the vice consul of San Antonio at that time, last name Sada, if I recall correctly, which he recently passed away, he get together every Saturday with these individuals, including René. And this I know because I asked René, how did that happen? And he told me the story. So that's how I know firsthand from him. And he said that one day, the vice consul said, stop this nonsense. He used another word, but stop this nonsense. Form a nonprofit to start helping the fellow Mexicans that are coming this way and help them do a soft landing. So AEM was born, which is AEM stands for Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos, Mexican Association of Entrepreneurs, which eventually within the AEM, they're not only for Mexicans. We have US citizens, we have Argentinians, people from Venezuela and Colombia. So they are members of the association now. So now it's AEM, without the Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos, it's AEM, US-Mexico Business Association. So that is the new face that we're providing to anybody that is want to do business in the United States. AEM will be able to help them do a soft landing. Now, AEM has chapters in San Antonio, the Woodlands, Houston, Dallas, and McAllen. We have in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, and we have a representative office in Washington, D.C. And in Mexico, we have 3 very strong chapters: Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Bajío, which the Bajío is kind of like León, San Miguel, Querétaro, Aguascalientes area. So we have all of that in Mexico through the AEM. And the way we do it is we try to provide a soft landing to Mexicans that wants to do business in the United States, whether it's Texas, California, or any other place. And what we try to do with that is, through our own experiences, we try to provide them a more easy way to do business. Why? Because let me use my example. When I got here, I knew already where to live in order for my kids to get an education on the schools that I wanted. Well, you can think of this. You are new to the area, you like a subdivision, but you like this other school because the friend of a friend, the kids going to that school, but you like this area. So you want to live in Sharyland, but you want your kids to go to Memorial High School. Well, guess what? It's not going to be possible because there are different school districts and the education is set on districts. That this is not the same thing that in Mexico. In Mexico, I live here and my kids goes over there. So those are the little details that you do not know. Oh, I want to buy this lot here and build a humongous house. Well, guess what? When you want to sell that house, it's not going to sell as much as it cost you because the zone where you built it is not very pricey. Even though your house is the most beautiful house, it's not going to be able to sell it that way because that's how the industry works. And those are the little things that we help Mexican entrepreneurs to learn. Aside from setting their business through my firm or through other firms that we have networked with, like I tell them, this is the first thing that if you want to set up a business in the United States, I need three things from you. Your Mexican accountant needs to talk to your US accountant. Then, if you want to have the possibility to obtain a visa, well, we need an immigration attorney. That immigration attorney is going to tell me, your corporate attorney, how to structure your company so you can be able to get a visa eventually and live legally in the United States. And that kind of advice is not often given, because and they tell me, well, for $800, my accountant can set up a company, and he's going to be valid, and he's going to be, I can do business. And I say, yes, you can. Don't get me wrong. $800 will get you a very long way, but it's not going to be the international way. There's a difference. The companies that you're going to be setting up as a U.S. will serve you the purpose of being U.S. But guess what? Your income, your real business is in Mexico. So how are they going to communicate? And that is the key aspect of it. It's a little more expensive because the due diligence has to be done in a wider variety. But at the end of the day, it's going to assure you that whatever taxes you pay here, you're going to be able to deduct them in Mexico. Or the taxes you pay in Mexico, they're going to be able to deduct it in the U.S. when you're making the transition into the U.S. So those are the little aspects that somebody that is not savvy or that doesn't have the know-how of the international business or negotiations will not going to be able to explain that. So the first thing that we do in Cacheaux Cavazos Newton and at the AEM is we surround ourselves of professionals that they are mind into the international. They do business the international way. There's the national way, Mexican US, and then the international way. And when you do this, the international way, you are set to do business in the long run and to make more money.
The last group I've got that I was going to ask you about, World Trade Center.
World Trade Center. Wow. World Trade Center is an organization that is well run for, I don't know how many years now, but is run by or managed by Eugenio Reyes. He is an individual, very enthusiastic, has a very a charisma that he believes in what he preaches. And it was through him that we were able to gather all these EDCs and convince them to go with us to Monterey. It was a great success. We need to do a follow-up. I know that they're going to have a boot camp on September the 21st, which, God willing, I'm going to be there, along with my partner, Rob Burnett, and other individuals that are going to be talking about. They're going to be talking to the SBEs, small business entrepreneurs, and other enthusiasts that they want to know how to get the visas, how to get their companies, how to do the how, because without the know-how, you will be lost. I have clients right now that now that I went over there, some of the individuals, they say, look, I already have my LLC, but I do not know how to start it. I already have this, but I don't know where to begin after that. And a lot of people think this. To me, it's a myth, but that's what they think. You form your LLC and open a bank account. That's the first two things they tell them. And in my mind, it's like, what do you want to do then? First of all is the LLC the best thing or what is needed for you to be successful in your business? Maybe a C Corp will be the best thing to do. We don't know. How are you going to link your U.S. business with the Mexican entity? Are they going to be linked? Oh, they're not going to be linked. Okay, so who's going to be the owners? In the United States, one person, one company can be the owner of an LLC or a C Corp or an LLP. In Mexico, you need two partners to form an entity. That's a different story. They think that they need to bring their mother, their wife, their brother to open an LLC. I say, no, you don't have to. One individual can open the whole thing, but it depends for what you want it. And that is through the World Trade Center. Eugenio is providing these spaces for the small business entrepreneurs to learn about this, doing what I call it the crossover into the United States. but do it legally, do it the correct way. And even though you're doing it legally, it may not be the correct way, because what we're looking into this is sometimes companies that they are formed, they now do not know what to do anymore. They're asking us, okay, I have my LLC, now what? Well, what's your business? What's the next step on your business? So World Trade Center is a facilitator for this small business entrepreneurs to thrive in this now thriving economy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for answering those questions.